One thing that I've talked about multiple times since Power Rangers has come to an end with Cosmic Fury was the fact of who could actually buy Power Rangers and who would actually produce the TV show. It's simple. Who would be the one person that could swoop in and do the biggest power move you've ever seen in superhero history? The only person that I generally think could do so much would actually be Toei. Toei would be able to do this. I think it would be one of the biggest power moves, and I'm going to kind of like talk about it. Now, some fans would absolutely probably love this. They would be shouting from the rooftops. Saban ruined it. Disney didn't want it, and Hasbro really don't know what they're doing with it right now. So let's say that Toei comes up to Hasbro and goes, hey, we really want to buy this from you right now, and they acquire all the IP rights. What would happen? Well, let's talk about it. Now, this is going to be in two different parts, so buckle in, we're about to start. So first of all, the sale goes through ridiculously quickly. We're talking like really, really quickly. And in 2025, they actually sit down as they are working out the brand new Sentai as well, and they start to kind of work out what would be the best option, what would they do. Now, could they make their own season, or would they just go back to adapting what was previously there? I generally think that there would be two options, as I've mentioned. So currently, at the moment of this recording, the only adaptation that you could really do would be King Oja. As this is brand new for Toei, they actually ask Hasbro and say, hey, what do we do? We've never really cast outside of Japan before, so how would you do it? And Hasbro sits down with them and goes through absolutely everything. They start looking for actors, they put their adverts out there, and they wonder what's going on now. But rather than doing it from New Zealand, which we've seen multiple times, they decide to kind of go, hey, let's look at Los Angeles and do it that way. Or maybe they decide to open it up to the rest of the world, which would be a very, very good thing to do. So they've gone through the entire process. They are happy with who they've chosen actor-wise, and bam, there we go. The 6 Rangers are all off to Japan to start training because they're going to be living there for exactly about a year, just over, including like any other movies, but they've literally started, and they're going to, as I say, start to train, start to do everything. Adding into this, they've actually got English writers, they've got everything. Pretty much, it's the exact same transition that we've had with Power Rangers, because obviously it's a lot easier doing it that way, and that's what we're going to kind of stick with. So the entire team is writing in English, they are doing everything that they need to. It's a good thing so far. Where are they going to air the show? Literally, it's going to be on Netflix and Crunchyroll, because they've struck a deal, because it's the best place to actually do this, because Netflix is one of the biggest distributors apart from like YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, they're going to focus on those two platforms to get everything out there for everyone, because it reaches an audience everywhere. They've come to a deal. They're going to do 40 episodes per season, because I want 40 episodes, but they're doing 40 episodes right now, which makes a lot of sense. And they're going to release it weekly rather than in one big go, because I want to torture people to some degree on that one. You're getting 40 episodes, but one a week, and that literally kind of runs with how much like Sentai is doing over in Japan. And I know that Japan does like some episodes, like different numbers, but 40, we're going to go with 40. Rather than doing the entire process of going like, oh, we have to go outside and match and do the whole thing, we have to kind of wait. They're using the same technology, the same area that they shot King Oja in, which was a giant big like dome thing with screens, which made things easier. I didn't really like it, but it was actually a really good thing to do. And there you go. You have the entire tech so that they can get the same scenes, they can get the same locations again, and there we go. So they're going through the process once again to make it match a little bit better, but obviously there are going to be some differences. Toei decides to reach out and say, hey, we actually want to get some English people in here to match the same scenes that happened in King Oja in the kind of first episode, and so on and so on. But over the year, we get the normal episode, as we do standard-wise when it comes to Super Sentai. Let's talk about the merchandise, because that's obviously one of the most important ones. And generally, yes, Bandai of Japan makes so much better toys, because they actually make them with care, and they don't really kind of skimp out on any of that sort of problem. And they don't really skimp out, do they, when it comes to the toys itself? Like, we can definitely compare them. The toy license obviously goes back to Bandai, and they issue it out to Bandai America, Bandai Europe, and pretty much everywhere else. So Bandai completely own the toys. It's what we want, really. It's not really, but Bandai now has the rights to make all these toys straight away. Bandai of Japan now makes all the toys over in Japan and ships them out worldwide to all the respective places. Or we're going to go with the Japanese mold when it comes to toys, and they are going to stick with the actual process. The same plastic that is used, the same paint, and they won't make it look like crap whatsoever. It's going to be 100% made in the way that Japan wants. It also has the same electronics, but obviously if it has English speaking, it will be English speaking, because that makes it so much easier. When it comes to the Sentai merchandise, they go a little bit extra. You see stuff like food, bath stuff, little things that you would get normally. We don't normally see it in America or outside of America, so we're not going to be using the same sort of thing. It pretty much sticks with what like the rest of the world sells. I think that would be a lot easier to do that. If you really wanted to do that, yeah, you could do it at, say, Comic-Cons, limited edition places that would sell like these new Ranger items that people could buy. If there was an increase, I'd say like product was sold really, really quickly, then yeah. And I would say, yeah, 100% do that because it's a lot easier. So now let's rewind and go back to the beginning, because we want to see what happens if they didn't adapt the previous Sentai and it's a brand new product moving forward. The team sits down and plans through everything with Super Sentai, Power Rangers. They go through concept design to final design. They start looking at everything from production and moving forward, as we normally do, that we get every single year. Now we have the extra load of creating something a lot different because now they have Power Rangers involved. Information gets out there like it does, the community starts talking, and everybody is now wondering, what are they going to do? What are they going to make? This is something that the community has never seen before, and they are really excited that we're getting a brand new product, two brand new products effectively. Toei now starts the filming process. They have two sets of people on board. They have the English cast and they have the Japanese cast waiting to go, raring to go, because they're so excited they're trying something completely different. And it's working. Everyone is so on board with this. Everything has the same amount of episodes, 40, and that seems to be the winning number for Power Rangers because I don't know why. Now, they could obviously offset it if they wanted to have it maybe halfway through the year so that Sentai and Power Rangers pretty much runs so you have content all the time, which I think would be a really kind of cool thing. But what I think would also be really cool in this is to actually have, say, the Sentai team meet the Power Ranger team. It would be ridiculously easy to have, say, the Power Rangers meet the Sentai team, but I would also want to put a little bit of a twist on this and not just have it as an easy thing where basically they don't understand each other. Now, let's say, for example, King Oja, Boom Boonja, or whoever it is would interact with the Power Rangers. They would all be speaking English, so they would need a brand new voice cast or maybe get other people to voice it around. Who knows? But let's say the Power Rangers meet the next addition to the Super Sentai team. Their team would be speaking Japanese, which I generally think would be a really kind of cool thing, and you could have stories interlocking at times. If you wanted to bring the Sentai cast over, maybe just have them morphed and that's it, or maybe basically have a English voiceover, because a lot of people have also been saying, hey, we want the Sentai dubbed. It's not the thing that I would probably do, but I would mainly just have the teams kind of intermingle and obviously swap languages depending on if it was Sentai or Power Rangers, or maybe the people that are in the Sentai suits would demorph and it would be a brand new English cast. Who knows? I think those are the really cool things to add to this. What I generally would think is that no one would complain about this. It's run by Toei. Toei is taking the lead, and if they do complain, then they're really complaining about Toei and how they are handling it. I also do think that this would shock both the communities. I generally think Power Ranger fans and Toku fans would take a step back on this and be like, oh shit, I did not know this was going on. And I like that kind of thought. I like thinking about the chaos, because if they went against Power Rangers and complained about Power Rangers, then they're complaining about Toei. And I know that some fans don't like doing that because they think that Sentai is superior. It's such a really random thing. Believe me, it's really random. Anyway, I thought this would be a really interesting topic, and I generally would love to see Toei do this power move that no one would see coming. But what are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, and while you're down there, why not hit like and subscribe? And if you're feeling a little bit more generous, why not check out the Patreon and join the channel memberships? Thank you very much for listening and watching, and may the power protect you. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimona Cat. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら。チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとう。チャンネル登録、高評価、お願い。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができるよ。